All right, story 9, right here in my living room. Going before I go to work. This story is, I don't know if I'd call it an encounter story, but with God, I thought I would share it. It's based on a dream I had when I was probably 17, 18 years old. And I don't particularly put a lot into dreams like some people do, but this one is something I've remembered my whole life, and it was a little, I thought, exceptional in some ways, and I'll tell the story and get on with it. I want to say before this dream, about 2 years before I had it, I had my first encounter with death of somebody I cared a lot for. In this case, it was my friend Brian Hunt. And he was older than me. He was 18, and he was killed in a car accident. He was on the side of the road. Late at night, his car broke down, and he worked right up the road next to where I lived in the town of Alton, New York. It's a very small town. And he went back to where he worked at the garage. He got the tow truck. He had the keys to the place and went to pick his car up with the tow truck, himself, because he worked at the garage, and walked there and got the tow truck. And he was between his car and the tow truck, and he had flares all over the road, and his car was way off the road. There was a pretty wide shoulder there, and a drunk driver somehow swerved off the road and hit the back of his car and instantly killed him. He was between the two vehicles when it happened. And that really hit me pretty hard. It blew me away. I just wept and wept for, days, weeks. I recall going to his grave. This is a little side note. And he wasn't buried yet. And I went there. His stone was there with a tow truck on it. And I looked down there. It was raining. It was November, cold out, and somebody, presumably the guy that dug his grave, had thrown a bunch of trash into it, like kitchen trash. And I jumped down his grave, cleaned it all out. So this had a lot of impact on me, and I was really disturbed about the whole death of him. Skip forward about 2 years, where I largely healed up from my grieving. And I had a dream one night, and in the dream, I was on the road at night, exactly where he was killed. And the dream starts out where I see 2 car headlights coming down the road towards me. Then I take my eye off them, and I look up, and suddenly they're right in front of me, and I'm on the shoulder of the road. And the next thing I know, I'm walking in paradise, and it was like a path through a garden with all kinds of lush flowers and plants, and it looked like what you might think Eden would look like. It was just a very lush, vibrantly colorful garden and a path going through it. And I'm walking down this path, and there's a man walking beside me in a robe, but a little bit beyond, and I couldn't turn and look at him. And he was talking to me for quite a while. He was talking to me about things in my life and explaining things about my life and other things. And he had a very calm voice. I don't believe it was Jesus. I'm not sure who it was, but it was a man in a robe, a white robe. And he was talking to me very calmly about life and my life, the future of my life. But I don't remember the gist of that conversation, except when we stopped walking, and he said to me, "I want you to remember this, Tim. It's all going to work out for you in the end. Remember this, Tim. It's going to work out for you in the end." And poof, I woke up. And I don't know what that was, honestly, but I'm sharing it here. And I believe it might have been my friend, actually. I put it together. The headlights, the same exact place where he was killed, and I saw the headlights and coming down the road, and suddenly they're in front of me, off the road, like it would have been for him. And Then I'm walking through paradise with this man walking next to me, just trying to tell me things are going to work out for me. And the rest of the conversation I didn't remember. But when he said, we stopped walking, and he said, I want you to remember this, Tim. It's going to work out for you in the end. It's all going to work out for you in the end. Remember this. I remembered that. So that's it. You know, I'd like to think, I like waiting for it to work out. And I'm going through quite a bit of trials right now. And honestly, you probably are too. So I'm not saying I'm different in that regard. But, you know, maybe if it wasn't a dream, it was my friend. There are people watching after us. So I don't doubt that there are souls watching, good souls watching after us. And the only thing I kept wondering was, all right, what's he mean by the end? The end. The end of this long patch of trouble I've had. I won't get into that. It's been going on for decades. Troubles that just don't seem to resolve. Injustices and things I can't figure out. Or does he mean the end of my life? I don't know. So I had to share that with you. I got some other stories. They're not as direct as the stories 1 through 8. I've had other encounters with God, probably sure many times I'm not even aware of. Some of them I'm not really going to share. They're too personal. One has to do with my father's passing and things like that. But I'm going to share some other stories with you that are questionable. So, we'll get around to it. Thank you. Have a good day. And it's all going to work out for you in the end.